Okay, let's go ahead and get started. As I said, I'm Richard Monk, Data Success Manager here at Dataedo. I'll be hosting the webinar today. We're happy to have Piotr Kononov with us, founder and CEO of Dataedo. He is going to show us the new features in Dataedo 24.1. As with other webinars, release webinars, we'll be talking about the new features and then a short glimpse into what's coming soon under development. At the end, we will have a Q&A. So while the webinar is going, if you have questions and want to put them into the chat, I'd be happy to make note of those and answer questions at the end. So with that, I will go ahead and turn the time over to Piotr.
Thank you, Richard. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be looking at what we added recently to Dataedo. It was a January release in 24.1. And I'll give you an overview of the key functionalities we've added, key upgrades. So the first one is our first step into building workflows functionality into Dataedo. For now, this is a field called status. It's a built-in field called status for all the manual objects, such as business terms, domains, lookups. We built a predefined list of statuses which you can choose from. In this release, this is just an indication of the status the object is in. In near future, in next release, we'd like to add functionality to hide those objects in the statuses that are not approved yet or published. So they will be visible only for editors. We are also planning a couple of more upgrades of this functionality, which I'll cover in the next section. Yeah, for now we have it in the web and desktop. You can start providing those, assigning those statuses. Be aware that if you choose one of the statuses before the published, it will not be visible for viewers in the future release around April. One of the biggest upgrades are the new data lineage diagrams, which are heavily upgraded. This is like a completely new functionality, and this one I'd like to show you in live demo. Let's have a look at the report, one of the reports. As you can see, I see my report over here, and this is a data set. I can click here and expand columns, right? We have a nice hierarchy of the fields. When I click on the field, it selects me the flow of this particular column. I can go back and see where it flows from the data warehouse. And I can go even more back. And I can see now the ETL package that moves this column, right? And I can go back to staging table and so on and so forth. So it's more interactive. And yeah, so this is heavily improved functionality over the previous ones. And we are also will be adding a lot of more functionalities to that. There will be a preview of a preview panel where you'll be able to see the scripts and some transformations and more context information about those flows. Yeah, so that was one of the biggest upgrades. Let's go back to presentation. Another exciting functionality is as parsing stored procedures. Currently, this is just for SQL Server, Azure, and all those Microsoft technologies. We parse the script and we build column level lineage for those transformations. We support statements like insert, update, some of those those key types of processing. We'll be adding more. We'll be adding more dialects, Postgres, Oracle, Snowflake, and so on. So yeah, currently, we'd love to hear your feedback. This is just the first version of this new direction we're going into, of helping you map the lineage of your SQL stored procedures. So it would be great to hear how it worked in your environment. Did it meet your expectations? Are there any other types of statement processing which we don't support yet? Okay, moving on. Another one is a Databricks Unity catalog. We now connect to the Databricks Unity catalog and import information about tables, views, and we also build column-level lineage for the processing for pipelines, as you can see here, and also for views using our SQL parser. So quite an advanced connector. We, for the past maybe 2 years, we are building other alternative ways to import metadata from the sources which we don't support, right? So you've seen that we have, I don't know, probably like 40 connectors, native connectors that we extend constantly. But there will be always sources which we don't support, or maybe that it's not even possible to connect. You have some data in Excel spreadsheets or somewhere. So we are building alternative ways to upload the metadata into the repository. You might be aware of the interface tables. Those are the tables in the repository that you can upload the metadata, such as tables, columns, lineage information, reports, and so on. Almost everything our connectors scan. You can upload it there and run import, a safe import to the repository. Right now, we have added also a copy and paste functionality. So the structure is almost the same as those tables, but you can use copy and paste functionality from Excel, which is an improvement. So let's say you have a list of tables and their columns in Excel, or lineage information. You can just paste it to this window and import to Dataedo. You can perform this in an upgrade mode. So you can, whenever you upgrade something, update in your source in the spreadsheet, you can paste it again and perform upgrade, and it will apply changes. It will be included in schema change tracking report. So yeah, that's another great way for you to upgrade to feed the repository with the metadata. Another thing, we extended the support for metadata we import from the sources, from the databases. We now added jobs and sequences. For now, it's just for SQL Server and Oracle. We'll be also adding that to MySQL, Postgres, and other engines as well. If there's an engine you also like that to have the support for, let us know. You might know about the schema change tracking functionality. You should know, because this is a really significant value added, right? So whenever there is a change in your source database, we not only apply this change if you perform the import. We recommend scheduling that. We not only apply those changes to the catalog, but we also track those changes in this as a separate changes on the field level, and then it's accessible in both in desktop and in portal in schema changes report. We have added that functionality now for the manual import of files and structures. So if you're importing JSON, Avro, and other files, you can also, previously it was unavailable to upgrade to update the object with new schema, new changes. Right now, you can perform the upgrade, update of the object, of its structure, and it will also be included in the schema changes report. In Power BI, we added support for paginated reports, and we built column-level lineage from SQL parsing. Paginated reports are SSRS reports, are called paginated in Power BI. So yeah, right now we support cover all the report types in Power BI. For SSI AS multidimensional, which are cubes and dimensions engine, we are now also supporting column level lineage for named queries. Not just tables as before, but also named queries using our SQL parser. For SSI IS, so ETL from Microsoft, we are importing project level connections. This was requested by one of our customers. We are also building lineage for SQL tasks. So we're building the lineage for data flow tasks, but now also for SQL tasks and FTP tasks. In Microsoft Dynamics, with the use of Dataverse, so Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is in cloud, provides access to its metadata with the Dataverse technology. We are now also importing forms, so user forms, and we import the lineage for those forms. We also are importing views and use our parser to build lineage, column level lineage for those forms. In the future, we are also planning to import dashboards. So for your Dynamics application, we'll ideally build end-to-end lineage, from forms where users enter the data, to tables, to views, to the dashboards. For Azure Data Factory, we've provided a new authentication option, importing of new data sets, dataset types, Avro, JSON, and org. And we also provided new way of building lineage. Currently, it was static, so we checked looked at the construction of the package. Right now, we're looking at the actual run of the pipeline. This will support the pattern where the pipelines are dynamic. So you didn't build them as from table 1 to table B, but the list of table names is the dynamic list, right? This is a common pattern, and right now we are also checking the history of what was actually moved, what was actually executed, right? So we cover more information about the actual data movement. In Portal, we added new authentication options. Right now, you can connect to Azure Active Directory. You can also use Google, and you can provide an access with email code, right? So you can enable this. When you enable this functionality, anyone with the email can log into sign up according to permissions, right? So it's not anyone with permissions can use just any email. The code will be sent with over email. This is one-time code. We've added checking the licenses in the web. You don't have to connect your Dataedo portal to our licensing system, but not all the functionalities will be new functionalities will be available. So this applies to business domains, AI auto documentation, and the new workflow functionality. So if you'd like to have access to that, you have to go log into our Dataedo account. It's under account.dataedo.com. You get a token and account ID, or you upload the offline file. There's the documentation in on our website. Yeah, the web will work just fine. Just it will not have those functionalities if you don't. We've added a language to spell checker in the desktop. This was requested by people from other countries and also UK. So right now you can choose from a list of predefined languages. If yours is missing, let us know. This was shipped with the library we're using. I'm not sure if we can add another one. Something we'd have to check, but let us know if yours is missing. We've merged admin console with desktop. It will be easier now for you because it wasn't clear for all of you what the admin console does. Right now, there's just desktop. When you log in and you have admin permissions, there's in the settings, there's a manage desktop users, and this Windows right now merged with desktop. Okay, that was a quick overview of the key functionalities we did in the last release. And now let's have a look at what we are currently working on for this release and upcoming releases this year. So first, workflows I mentioned. Currently, any editor can set any status. We want to change that. This is a definition of your it comes from the definition of the workflow. Who has the access to, for instance, approve this particular status. Also, we'd like to hide objects and documents which are in draft status for the viewers, so editors will still see those documents and will be able to work on it, and then they will be visible after they are published. We're also adding my inbox, where I will see all the things I have to that are meant for my review, for my the documentation and so on. I didn't list it here, but we will be working on the reviewing of the suggestions. So I can, once the object is published, everyone will be able to suggest change, and it will go through a workflow of approvals, right? So yeah, to make it more democratized, so anyone can contribute, but only selected people will be able to review and approve or reject those changes. Another thing will be, which I didn't mention here, is the configuration of workflows. We are shipping it with the predefined workflows, and we will provide an information. We'll provide the functionality to customize this workflow. Scheduler. Currently, we encourage customers to schedule imports. So once you added connection to the repository, we encourage you to set up the ongoing daily or weekly metadata scan. We are now working on the convenient scheduler, where you'll be able, from desktop and in future web, be able to indicate when the import should occur, how often, and there will be an instance, a special instance of the scheduler, or even more, that you can install on some of the servers, just like you do right now with command line files. That will be executing the schedule, yeah, and will provide also a reporting, a list of the status of progress of those specific imports in desktop and also in web in the future. Steward Hub. So this is completely new functionality. I think this differentiates us from anything on the market. I'd like to show you a live demo in a second. Steward Hub is this place where we'd like that will be the working dashboard for all the stewards working on documenting and curating assets in the catalog. So we'd like to build a functionality that has all the work items and something that thinks for you, gives you suggestions which you can approve or reject. So let me share my screen again with the desktop this time. Yeah, okay. I already opened it. I can only show one window at a time. So this functionality is visible on the left side over here in the main window with this icon. If you click it, it will open a new window, and this is your new dashboard. This is a beta feature. We'll be adding more functionality to we'll be making it more prettier, we'll be building some aggregate dashboards, so you can have a better overview of what's going on, what's to do, what has been done. On the left here, you can see breakdown of the main modules or functionalities of Dataedo, and underneath will present to you all the things that Dataedo thinks you could do with your metadata. To launch this feature, when you first open it, you have to load the data. You do it with this button or this button here. It takes a couple of minutes to load all the suggestions. So let's have a look at glossary. One of the functionalities is if I click here, I see a list of all the terms, of all the keywords that exist in my reports. If I connected it to Power BI or something, some other reporting platform, it lists all the keywords that exist on your report. So these are good candidates for your business glossary, right? So over here you can see month label. Probably doesn't. When I click here, I can see all the instances, right, where it's occurring. In my case, it's 3 dash, what report, right, and what actual field. I don't think this is a good candidate for terms, so I just simply reject that, right? USD, probably not, but maybe something like a country, a good candidate. So in this case, I approve it. You'll see this screen, right? And you can quickly create the term with this name. You can edit the name, select the type, provide the status, and select which fields from which reports you like to link to that, right? So you can select that, and when you save, it creates a term in the idea, status, with all the links that you have selected. I think it is super useful. Okay, let's see some other functionalities it currently does. Let's see the reference data. So similar concept when I check lookups, and it suggests me all the lookup columns, all the columns that might be lookups, like status, like type. Yeah, a good candidate would be probably a country. Let's see, countries here. There's a couple of instances of country, right? So yeah, I can then also do the same thing, right? Create the term, the lookup with this name and link it to the suggested fields. It also suggests me, if I have lookups created, it will suggest me, I have a country here, it will suggest which columns I can also link columns, and in this next section, terms, business terms, you can link this term to, right? So I created a country term. There are so many country columns or other similar names like license country that I could link. So in this case, my work as a data steward is so much easier, because alternatively, I don't even know how I would find all those country columns. With search would take a lot of time checking all those tens of columns, and this is just one window I can quickly review and link, right? So it speeds up the creation of the objects and linking of the assets. Also, it provides me other functionalities. So for instance, I created lookups, but they have no columns linked. Also might be not correct, right? So I can check which they are. I can check lookups which have values for review, right? So yeah, these I have to go to the lookup editor and approve or reject those values, right? In ideal scenario, all are approved or rejected, right? There are no data coming from the database which I didn't sort. There are lookups which I didn't import columns to, right? Like object type, there are columns which I didn't never imported values from, and there are lookups which I didn't refresh for a while, right? So it gives you like like a dashboard of the things you could do with your metadata, right? And we'll be adding more functionalities to that. Ideally, this will be the place where all the stewards use daily to check their work. Currently, this is in desktop, and we'll be adding that to the web also, right? It's more like a proof of concept. It will be great to hear your feedback, any ideas, what can be improved, and then once it's the vision is clear, we can be adding that to the web. Yeah, so the functionalities which are which we're working on in Steward Hub is primary key suggestions. So all the tables that don't have primary keys, foreign key suggestions. We're using a couple of functionalities here. Objects without owner or other custom field of the role type. So you can, for instance, steward. You can check which objects don't have that. Objects without a domain, right? So you'll be able to see progress of the have you assigned all the objects to the domains? Dashboards. We'll be adding a couple of dashboards. Usage dashboard will show you how users are using that, how many weekly active users there are, what's the breakdown of editors and viewers. Catalog dashboard give you a summary of what's been added to the catalog. Metadata ingestion dashboard will give you an overview of what's the status, statistics, errors, are those imports performed correctly. And we'll be adding a couple of more dashboards for the stewards, which will be part of Steward Hub. Another completely new direction, which has been requested a lot, is data quality. That we have a data profiling functionality, but this just gives you an overview of the profile of the data. How many unique values there are? Is it empty? What are the max and mean values? This is just a high-level overview, but there you cannot apply rules. You cannot define what's the mean and max value the column should have. So this is something we'd like to build currently. Start with small sets of rules, and we'll be adding, extending that catalog of rules as we go. So yeah, things like, is the column unique? We can check if the foreign key is correct. Is the column has the right values according to the defined, the lookup we have defined. Min max values, regex, custom SQL rules, and so on. An interesting direction, an integration with Purview. Some of the companies, well, this is a competition, right? This is a competing product from Microsoft on Azure. It's, in my opinion, it goes into completely different direction. It's not so much as a catalog, more like a security and access control tool. Doesn't provide such an extensive data lineage functionalities. However, it does scan some things we don't, and we'd like to connect, provide the option to connect to that, to integrate. So Purview does some scanning, and then you can move it to Dataedo for presentation and search, and also a migration, right? If you did do a scan with Purview, I would like to provide an option for you to migrate all this to Dataedo. And last thing we're working on, from the big things I'd like to mention here, we're working on a lot of things, is the hosted environment for Dataedo. The plan is to have it by the end of this year to offer a production-ready environment where we will be hosting Dataedo for your customers. Yeah, so by the end of this year, we'd like to provide the option to host it on our servers, and next year we'll be extending support for Dataedo Portal. So there's desktop is not required, at least for majority of the use cases. Yeah, that's it for now.
Okay, so everybody who's joined over there in the chat, if you do have any questions, please drop those into the chat and we'll answer questions. While you're doing that, I had a couple of questions that I made note of. The first one is, Piotr, you mentioned that upcoming changes to the statuses and the workflows, being able to hide the objects that have particular statuses on them until they're published, and then having permissions for particular people in particular groups to actually be able to change those statuses. And you mentioned being able to customize workflows in the future. My question is that next version, or is that a future farther down the road version to be able to actually customize and create custom workflows?
So the first question is about publishing. Yes, it's the next version. The customization is not decided yet. Perhaps we will not add it. It will. So just the fact that we will not have it in UI, we can help our customers if there's a request, if there's a need to customize it for them. So one of our support team members could help with the.
Okay, good. The other question I had was, will there be the ability for users to create custom rules in data quality, or is it rules that will come, predefined in Dataedo? Will they be able to create their own custom rules?
Yeah. So with SQL, right? You will be able to write some SQL statement. I don't know what the format would be, but yeah, the concept is whatever an SQL can handle, we can execute and test.
Okay, good. Question from Debbie: is ClickView a data source that might be added?
ClickView, it might be added, but we are currently working on ClickSense. It's a completely different product from the same company. ClickSense will be next release. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, ClickView. Also, we are considering, but ClickSense is way more popular.
Okay, thank you. Ahmed asks, are these features working only with SQL Server or also with Oracle and SAP?
Well, depending on what features, but the automated lineage currently we have for SQL Server. Oracle currently doesn't support stored procedures, automated lineage for stored procedures. SAP, depending on which one, there are like 5 SAP databases, if not more. Some of them support the same dialect. So SQL has dialects, and Transact SQL is supported by Microsoft products and Sybase. So. And majority of other functionalities by show they are generic, right? So they are source agnostic.
Okay, good. Yeah, and I'd add to that, Ahmed, you can always you can always either ask us or go to the documentation on the website for the particular metadata connectors to see what each one does specifically. Okay. Isa says, regarding the comment that the features of web catalog will be extended and desktop will be required less, does it mean that Dataedo is moving towards a more traditional client-server architecture instead of the current client database architecture that is with the desktop clients? So are we moving away from desktop?
Client servers, like, yeah, I mean that's a fair statement. We want to be more like a cloud software, I mean, still, will always be able to host it on-prem, right? But more like a web browser application. Desktop will probably always be there for more advanced functionalities, such as, there are some things for configuration, importing, migration that doesn't necessarily make sense to add to web. They took a lot of work to do. So, for instance, occasionally to import something, you would need a desktop, but for most, like 99% of time, you'll just use the web. That's the direction.
Perfect. Thank you. We have another question. Ivo, can we in Dataedo describe business rules, not yet SQL scripts, but data quality requirements, and link them to data elements and their groups? So business rules.
Yeah, I think you can use glossary, right? We have different types of entries. You could use a rule entity type, provide like with a language or like a semi-code, pseudocode, or anything. Provide the rule and then link it to the fields using the links. Yeah, I think that's perfect application of the glossary.
Great. Perfect. Thank you. Nina asks, would you consider a demo of importing metadata from an Excel sheet into Dataedo in the future? That would be useful. I think that's a comment to me to make a video there to demo that.
Yeah, that would be great. Because you should consider a few, there are requirements. Not all the data will pass the test, right? You need to keep certain, so it might be a bit longer video to list all the requirements for the columns required.
Okay.
Yeah. Nina, you can also always or anyone reach out to Richard. There is email on the next slide. Actually, let me move on and ask for a session, one-on-one session, and you can try together.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm always happy to either talk to people by email or by having a meeting. That's why I'm here. Okay, so your contacts here at Dataedo, if you need to contact support for questions, if things are not working how you need them, you can contact support directly. They're support@dataedo.com. For licensed customers, current customers, Jonathan is your contact. New customers, Patrick will be your contact. I will help you out with any training or guidance, anything with using the tool and understanding how it works, including sometimes we have questions from people wanting to know what the particular capabilities are of specific connectors. Go ahead and contact me. And if I know, great, I'll answer the questions. If not, we'll get together with an engineer and go into detail into those specific use cases. And of course, general comments can go to dataedo@dataedo.com. All right. I think that brings us to the end. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Hope this was useful. As I said, a recording of this will be made available to everyone here shortly. So thank you and have a good day.